Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a tutorial on how to create this little stall for your model horses. So just a heads up, I'm doing a voiceover for this video, which I don't usually do. And also I filmed this video over a couple of days, just because I was pretty busy. So if the lighting changes or whatever, I apologize for that in advance. I still hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless. So what I've basically started doing here is just cut a square hole in the front of my stall where I want the entrance to be for the horse. So basically with this, just make sure that your horse can fit through it, and also it's probably a good time to mention, make sure your horse can fit in the box. So what I'm doing now is I've grabbed the top of the box that I was using before, and I'm pulling off the sides to make it flat, and I'm cutting off the flaps. And what I'm going to do with the rectangle then is glue it right on to the floor of the stall to create a more stable floor so that the horse won't fall. And in my past stalls, I've noticed that this is kind of an issue because I use such thin cardboard. If you're using thick cardboard, you probably won't have to do this. But since I use thin cardboard, it's kind of hard, or the horse falls over a lot. It's hard to keep the horse standing. So that's why I'm doing this, to prevent that issue. Next thing, I'm just going to real quick here cut off those little flappy parts of the box and glue the corners together. I just don't want, when I later glue on the popsicle sticks, them to be bumpy. I want them to be nice and even and smooth. So now I'm starting to glue on the popsicle sticks, which I'm using as walls. I'm going to glue them vertically, but first I have to figure out how big they are going to be. So it doesn't really matter how the ends are, because the ends will be covered up by popsicle sticks going horizontally. This will all make sense later. You can actually kind of see it behind in the stalls, behind the one that we're making right now. But basically I just need to get the right size. So that's what I was kind of testing out there. And now I'm just gluing them on. So I'm using hot glue. You could use tacky glue, whatever will really work. And I'm just going to glue a bunch on, and then we'll check back in after that. So now that I've completed a row of popsicle sticks, what I'm going to do is take jumbo popsicle sticks and cut off the ends to make them nice and straight, because these are the ones you're going to see the edges. These ones were covering the edges, but the jumbo ones you're going to see the edges. So you want to make sure that they're straight. You can sand them down. Really anything you can sand down in this entire project to make it look smoother if you want, just saying that. But you're going to glue these ones on the tops and the bottoms horizontally, and then we'll also do the sides eventually. Just create a nice cohesive finished look to the walls. And basically you're going to do this on every single wall. I only do the inside. If you really want to go crazy, I guess you could do the outside too, you know. Actually, I do one outside, the opposite of this wall I'll do, because that's the front. But if you're putting a bunch of these stalls together in like a stable that you're making, again, kind of like you see in the back, you don't really need to do the sides. The one in the back right, I didn't do the side. The one that's closest on the left here, you can see I painted the side, so that's another option too if you want to do that. Alright, so after doing the top jumbo popsicle sticks going horizontally there, and the bottom ones, we're going to want to do the side ones. So these ones go vertically again, like the row that we did. And again, I'm doing this just so that it kind of gives a nice cohesive finished look to it. And yeah, like I said, we're going to do this around all 4 sides of the inside of the box. So I'm going to do that after I finish this here. So I finished the inside popsicle sticks, and now I'm going to move on to the outside. As I said before, I'm only doing this front little panel here. So I finished the front panel, and now I'm going to work on covering up some of those inside pieces that you can still see. So I'm just going to be gluing some popsicle sticks on the top of all the work we just did and on the side here, as you can see, so that we kind of can't see the inside and the glue and the messiness in there. Alright, so the walls are complete, so we're going to be moving on to the door now. And for this, I'm just measuring out with popsicle sticks how wide the doorway is. The door is kind of going to reflect the walls, as it's going to have the same pattern. So next, what I'm going to do here is take some tacky glue. You could use super glue too, whatever. But I'm going to spread it all over these popsicle sticks and then kind of smooth it out with a paintbrush. I realized kind of halfway through doing this that it was probably not smart doing this on top of the cardboard, since it's gonna stick to the cardboard if any glue gets through, and it does. So what I did is I transported it to just a binder or whatever's like plastic, a surface that the glue will not stick to easily. So I recommend doing that, and it was kind of a struggle doing it this way. The glue kind of got all over, so if you have any better ideas, definitely do that. You could probably paint them individually and then put them together, but you know, I don't know. Okay, basically then what I did was glue another row of popsicle sticks right on top. That's why we put the glue on those ones. And as you can see, some of the glue did get through, but I was able to brush it off a little bit. And now I'm adding more glue, but this time hot glue. And I'm putting on those jumbo popsicle sticks exactly like we did the wall. We want them to match. It's going to look super nice and cohesive then. How many times could I use that word in this video? We will see. Alrighty, so now I'm going to make the poles for the door, and I want to make sure that they're the proper height. Since I haven't done the ceiling yet, I'm just going to measure out these poles with the horse in the stall so I know how tall it is. Of course, it's going to vary based on the mold. And then I just mark that with my finger and cut it. And it kind of flew over there, and I had to grab that. But as you can see, it lines up well. The horse has a little bit of headroom there. And now I'm going to, I think I cut out 7 of these, and I'm going to glue them to the top of that piece we just made for the door, and then also these 2 little popsicle sticks that I glued together to form the top of the door. So just like you see in real life, the sliding doors with the little poles in it, that's exactly what we're making here. And I just glued those on with a little tacky glue. So here's the finished door. What I'm basically going to do now is make little restraints for the door. I don't know how else to explain it, but basically give the door a little path to follow so you can't like pull it out weird or anything. And to do this, I'm just taking some bamboo skewers. These are thicker ones than I used for the pulls on the door, but really it doesn't matter at all. And I'm cutting them to size, just so that the door can get completely out of the way of the entrance, and then of course to let it go back in front of the entrance. Sorry if this isn't making sense, I don't know how else to explain it. But so I'm cutting 2 long poles, one for the top, one for the bottom, and then 4 little tiny short ones, and those are just so that they can glue on the longer ones. Then all I'm doing is tracing the stall out on a piece of cardboard and then cutting it out to make the roof. So the next thing I'm going to do is try to cover up this cardboard a little bit because there's words all over it. Thank you for using priority mail service. I don't know. But I wanted to cover it up, so I was going to use this colored paper, and as you can see I put down some tacky glue and just try to smooth it out. Usually I would just paint it, but painting is kind of hard to do on cardboard sometimes because when it dries it like bends the cardboard, which if you've ever seen like one of my barn tours, actually, you can see the wash stall especially is really bent on the sides and it causes a lot of issues. So I try not to do that. Probably putting on this much glue is just as bad. But as you just saw, I opened a new bottle of tacky glue with a knife and I think I cut myself because I ended up getting blood on the colored paper, and you can see me looking at my hands. I don't know where it came from. I still couldn't find the cut, but somehow there was blood. And so I ended up having to paint it. You can still see the blood, but at least it's a little less noticeable. But I always end up hurting myself in these videos. Anyway, so I did end up painting it. I tried to put weights on it while it dried, and it did help a little. And also I put dowels, wooden dowels or bamboo skewers, whatever, on the ends, like lining out the roof later. And I think that helped keep it straight and not bend. So if you're gonna paint any cardboard, just keep that in mind. You know, the colored paper would have been really good if I didn't bleed on it. Anyway, oh my goodness. Basically now I need to make the roof, and I'm doing this by measuring out kind of how tall I made my door. You could also make the door after you make the roof, you know, either way, just make sure they are near similar height, because how I'm connecting the door, as you can see here, is I'm going to connect it to another wooden dowel. We cut that out earlier with the one below it, and it's going to slide across that wooden dowel, but I have to make sure that wooden dowel can be connected to the roof the proper height. So you can see I just measured it there. I have no idea what I measured, so I'm sorry if you want to make a similar stall. But yeah, so basically I realized that a popsicle stick would not be tall enough, so I was going to have to cut 2 popsicle sticks. It would be one full length one and then one that was a tiny bit shorter. So you can see I'm cutting them out here. You can see I'm just lining them up and making sure that they're the proper height. And once you cut out the smaller one too, we're gonna need, I think 8 of those, I said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 8. Because you're gonna make basically corners out of them. These are gonna be the posts that hold up the roof. So because I'd like the roof to be able to be removable so I could get inside the stall and do stuff in there, I am making these little notches for the roof to sit in, as opposed to actually just gluing the roof onto the popsicle sticks. So that's what I'm making here. I just cut tiny little pieces off of a scrap wooden skewer, and I put one in each corner of the stall. So here's how the poles look all finished. I also added one set of those 2 popsicle sticks across from the door, and on this one corner a hook for like a hay net or a water feed bucket. And now I'm just measuring out some wooden poles to line the top of the stall. So I cut and glued on those wooden dowels, and now what I'm going to do is put on the top restraints for the door, and also the door, because the door is connected to the top restraints. That's how it slides. So I need to make sure it's lined up with the bottom restraints, so I'm just using a ruler here to make sure that it's nice and straight and even with those bottom ones. So first, remember, just like we did the bottom restraints, glue on the tiny little pieces of wooden dowel and then the long one onto those ones. Finally, on our last step, to connect the door, I'm going to use two little jump rings here, and I'm just gluing them on to the door part, not the pull part, because remember we want it to slide. You could also glue them on the door before you put on the top restraints. This would probably be easier because when you do it this way, it's kind of hard not to let it glue onto the restraint. So here it is, all dried, and now it will slide very nicely on the carpet. It might be a little difficult, but you can put cardboard under there if you want it to be easier. And here's the finished stall with the top. I just went ahead and set the top right on there, and it looks really nice. If you wanted it less open, you could definitely add in some walls, but I like it how it is right now. I think it's adorable. If you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up, just because this did take quite a while. It was very editing heavy, all the voiceover and everything, and let me know if you did like the voiceover or if you didn't. I'd love the feedback. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!